quaint village of Sugar Creek is nestled in the rolling hills of Tuscarawas County. The Ohio Central locomotive, stationed downtown Sugar Creek, takes you 6 miles into the heart of Amish farmlands. A round trip takes just about an hour. Across from the station is Dale's blacksmith shop, where the Amish bring their farm horses and carriage horses to be shoed. A buggy horse needs horseshoes to protect its feet from hard-surfaced roads. Horseshoes are made of iron and are pounded by the blacksmith to perfectly fit the shape of the horse's hoof. A blacksmith is an artisan who shapes and welds iron to produce horseshoes and other tools or utensils made of iron. The iron horseshoe must be heated until it's red hot. It is then placed on the anvil where it is hammered into the desired shape so as to create a perfect fit. Horses' hooves grow like human fingernails, so the horses need to be refitted on average every 10 weeks. Nails are positioned so they protrude through the edge of the horse's hoof. The points are clinched, which holds the shoe on tightly and prevents it from vibrating loose. Nailing the shoes on in no way hurts the horse. In fact, horses become accustomed to having their hooves manicured.
All four on that forward.
Where did the nerve endings stop?
On the bottom, which is just simply going too short. That's about it. But they got a wall around the outside you can nail to.
Since the development of automobiles, the number of blacksmiths has been greatly reduced. Fortunately for the Amish of Sugar Creek and surrounding areas, Dale's blacksmith shop has kept this unique art alive. The town of Sugar Creek is known throughout Ohio as Little Switzerland. The town was settled by immigrants from Switzerland, and the Swiss styling is apparent throughout the town. Sugar Creek is located amidst the largest Amish community in the world. It is quite common to see horse-drawn buggies on their streets, parked near the shops, the general store, and of course the blacksmith shop. As you wander around the town of Sugar Creek, you'll quickly notice unique murals on many of the buildings, many of which are animated. Few have been more responsible for transforming Sugar Creek into the Little Switzerland of Ohio than artist Tom Miller. He has painted dozens of murals with Swiss scenes and Amish country landscapes throughout the town. Be sure and visit his gallery while in Sugar Creek. It showcases both original paintings, prints, and drawings. Some of them date back over 50 years from when Tom began his artistic career. Let's peek inside his studio and watch Tom at work on one of his favorite themes, the life of Christ. For over 60 years, Tom has put paint to canvas, wood, and board. Tom's creative talents include paintings with oils, pastels, charcoal, and acrylics. As a tribute to Tom Miller's vision, contribution, and talent, the Sugar Creek Business Association has honored him with the Tom Miller Sugar Creek Arts Festival every May for the last 4 years. This festival features an auction of 10 to 20 of Tom's finest paintings and prints that he created over the past year.
Signed on the back by Tom with the certificate. This was the top seller last year. This is the print of the record. Get 1,000 on it. 1,000 on it. 1,000 I say out of 10. Get 100. Get 100. Get high. One. Get high. One's over the handy. Say 1 over the handy. Get 100. Get high. 1 bit. Get high. One's over the handy. Any money over the 50. 100. That's 75. And get 100. Now 1. That's 75. And get 100. Now 1. Way back. Now quarter. 100. Now quarter. Half. Way back. 150. 175. And 175. 50. Right up. 125. 50. 125. 150. 150. 150. 75. 150.
Here's the proud owner of one of Tom's latest originals. The festival also features an arts and crafts street fair where 50 to 60 artisans and crafters feature their wares. One of Ohio's largest festivals is the Ohio Swiss Festival, held each year in Sugar Creek. Almost 250,000 people swarm into the town to enjoy the food, entertainment, and parade. There are lots of creative events scheduled, such as the Steintossen, or stone toss, yodeling, and the Swiss-style wrestling, all add to the fun. The Swiss Parade is a perfect example of small-town America. It features marching high school bands, classic cars, unique floats, and lots of horse-drawn buggies and carriages. The horse is such an integral part of the Amish lifestyle. No other animal is as important and well cared for. When the Amish want to buy or sell one of their workhorses or carriage horses, they head for the auction. One of the first buildings we pass going out of town is the Sugar Creek Horse Auction building, where every week farmers and country folk come from miles around to buy and sell their horses. I'd guess 50% of those in attendance are simply there for the show. Amish-made quilts are a major attraction for many visiting this area. The Swiss Village Quilts and Crafts Shop is a great place to browse and gain an understanding of just how much labor goes into making one of these handmade quilts. Quilt making is a primary means of artistic expression and income for many Amish women. The artistic style of any given quilt is determined well before the quilt is sewn together. Colors, quilt size, symmetry, and layout all must be properly planned. A variety of unique patterns must be cut out from material scraps in the shapes of bars, squares, diamonds, rectangles, triangles, and petals, all coming together to form one of these unique creations. Artisans Mercantile and Beachy Chalet Restaurant are located just across the tracks from downtown Sugar Creek and are two other great places to shop or browse for quilts. Both offer a large selection of very unique quilts and Amish-made woodwork. The Amish are well-respected craftsmen. Their country-style woodwork is both comfortable and distinctive. An investment in any of these fine quilts or furnishings is sure to become a family heirloom. In some areas of Ohio's Amish country, you can drive for miles and miles and see nothing but Amish farms, green pastures, and fields of whispering wheat. Exploring these back roads is always an adventure, filled with relaxing scenery and sometimes unique surprises, like last spring when I encountered what I refer to as an Amish house moving. Since built in 1869, this home was the pioneer homestead of Sugar Creek, owned by John S. Yoder, where he and his family lived and farmed their 100-acre tract of land. a tract now known as the town of Sugar Creek. The Amish Heritage Foundation was formed to preserve this historic home. Moving the house from its historic location to a field approximately a mile away proved to be a timely and expensive undertaking. Moving the house over the grass yard onto the street is literally an inch-by-inch process. Strong planks are placed under the rear wheels to disperse the huge 75 tons of weight and prevent damage from the tires. Watch and appreciate the tremendous effort and group cooperation that goes into this massive task. Not satisfied with mere diesel power, a local Amish farmer hooks up his team of Belgians for a little added horsepower. Thanks to the collective efforts of 6 men, Dave Beachy, Emmanuel Schrock, Roman Yoder, Noah Troyer, Tim Yoder, Henry Schrock, and Blaine Miller, the original farmhouse of Sugar Creek now rests on a donated 1-acre tract of land, awaiting complete restoration. Coincidentally, the tract of land that this house now rests on once belonged to John S. Yoder's family. Amish children are treasured and loved and nurtured throughout their childhood. These children have an innocence and naturalness that directly reflects their basic and simple lifestyle. The Amish have their own schools because they want to give their children teachings that they will need to earn an honest living and to lead a Christian life. Special focus is made on teaching respect and responsibility. The favorite sport of Amish children is baseball. It's virtually impossible to drive by an Amish schoolhouse without a baseball diamond. And if you catch them during recess or after school, you're very likely to catch a game in progress. Notice here that some of the boys are wearing baseball gloves. Some Amish school boards forbid the use of baseball gloves and hard baseballs while playing baseball at school. They believe a sponge ball or other softball prevents the game from becoming too competitive with worldly methods and goals which might range out of control among teenagers and be carried on into adulthood. Amish children go to school for 8 years through the 8th grade. There is one teacher and all 8 grades are taught under one roof. Amish children have lots of playmates. Their large families provide plenty of brothers and sisters, plus lots of cousins and neighbors. When Amish children come home from school, they first help around the home with chores, and they love to go to the market with Mom or Dad to socialize with friends and neighbors. Amish boys begin riding along with Dad on his horse-drawn farming implements at a very young age and begin helping with farming chores as soon as they are able. As family life seems to be crumbling in North America, the Amish make every effort possible to preserve their family lifestyle. What the outside world may judge as radical, nonconformist practices of Amish life, the Amish have deliberately instituted such an austere lifestyle to nurture family cohesiveness. Thus, the horse-drawn buggy. Easy, fast transportation draws family members too far away from home. Amish children watch no TV, giving them plenty of time to develop other interests. Play among children in the Amish community cultivates more creativity and less competition. Most Amish people are living proof that it's possible to have fun without television, video games, and computers. Amish toys are also unique and stick to the plain and simple philosophy. Let's visit an Amish toy and craft maker's workshop and watch as he makes fun yet simple toys, furniture, and games. Quickly becomes obvious to any outside observer that Amish children delight in their country living lifestyle. Little boys have time to fish and explore nature, while little girls play with their sisters, cousins, schoolmates, and neighbors. Travel by horse-drawn buggy is both scenic and relaxing. That is, if all goes well. Buggy riding on rural roads is not without risk. Cars, trucks, and semi-trailers all pose grave risks when suddenly encountered with a horse-drawn buggy traveling 5 miles an hour or less. Ohio's Amish country is very hilly. It was this terrain that attracted them, reminiscent of their motherland's terrain. But their motherlands didn't have tractor trailers and motorhomes and trucks. I highly advise visitors to this area to use extra caution, especially when traveling around curves and over hills. And if you ever have a chance to slow down or stop as to help a buggy cross an intersection, one that obviously needs a traffic light but has none, please do so. The Amish enjoy tourism. A great deal of them are employed as a direct result of the tourist trade. By the same token, I respect the plight of the Amish when it comes to having to confront a car from the perspective of driving a horse-drawn buggy. There are a few buggy tours that will take you several miles deep into the back roads that make this area so scenic. And even on these quiet back roads, people speed by buggies or cut in dangerously close after passing. Every other day an accident occurs involving a horse-drawn buggy and a car, RV, truck, or semi. Watching a scene like this takes me back to a way of life I know my ancestors knew. How fortunate we are to have the Amish to remind us that plain and simple can be far less stressful and just as rewarding than ornate and complex. The average speed of a horse-drawn buggy is about 8 miles per hour. Faster speeds are possible for short distances, but are discouraged unless it's an emergency. A good horse can travel for about 20 miles without stopping, but then needs to rest for several hours. For longer trips, 2 horses will be hitched to the carriage, reducing the workload in half. Nearly all buggy horses are animals that were once used for harness racing. If a horse isn't quite fast enough to race competitively, they quickly end up at one of the 3 major horse auctions in this area. Seeing Amish country by buggy gives one a deeper perspective and appreciation for what this unique slice of Americana is all about. The Amish deliberately choose their life of austerity. Amish simplicity is indivisible. You cannot analyze it or dissect it. Simplicity for simplicity's sake is difficult for some to understand. That's why so much that is simple evades knowledge. God's presence is simple, yet God evades science. The complex scientific mind does not know God. Love is simple, yet science does not know love. To understand simplicity, you have to drop the desire and effort to understand it rationally. Only then can you understand it. A new kind of understanding is needed, and understanding of the heart and not the mind will be necessary. An understanding that does not analyze, dissect, and rationalize. Simplicity means to be in deep communion with God, oneself, family, and your neighbor. To be perfectly comfortable living your life in your own way, a way that you find brings you closer to God and creation itself. Amish boys and girls are taught how to ride a buggy on country back roads at a very young age, usually around 9 years old. Young teenage boys will receive their first buggy by the time they're age 16.
Little horse.
Exploring the back roads of Amish country is very relaxing. If you have a chance to see it by buggy, don't pass it up. Just sit back and relax and listen to the clip-clop of the horses' hooves. As we continue our journey through Amish country, I'd like to tell you some important and interesting points concerning the Amish way of life. So we'll hop back aboard the Ohio Central and take a closer look at some Amish farmsteads. When traveling past Amish farmsteads, you'll often notice that there are two houses built side by side, or a smaller house attached to the main house. The smaller house is known as the Dowdy house. This is Grandpa's house. After the parents surrender the farm to one of their eldest children, the Dowdy house is built for the grandparents, where they will be cared for the rest of their years. The Amish believe in the children caring for the elderly, and the grandparents are loved and appreciated forever in an Amish home. The size of an Amish farm varies greatly. It takes about 50 acres to sustain a family and work animals. Most farms in central Ohio's Tri-County area average about 100 acres, double the size of a Lancaster, Pennsylvania Amish farm. But because this land is so hilly, you sometimes need 100 acres in order to have 50 acres that are tillable. The Amish are known as some of the world's best farmers. They're drawn to the land by their love for it. The Amish possess a profound sense of stewardship to care for God's good earth. They also believe that farm work is a healthy and satisfying way of life. They produce plentiful crops by investing long hours and careful planning of their crops. Crops always include both field corn and sweet corn, barley, alfalfa, and oats. Most of the land that is farmed is to raise crops to feed the farm animals. Belgian and Percheron horses are used to pull their antique-looking farming implements. Steel-wheeled tractors are used only for belt power to thresh or fill silos. Most of these horse-drawn farm machines are so old, not only are they no longer manufactured, but special parts must be made so they can fix or rebuild them year after year. Due to a limited supply of farmland, and the average Amish family has 8 children, farming is only possible for a select few fortunate enough to inherit land from their family or are able to buy a farm that occasionally goes up for sale by a non-Amish farmer. Many Amish families are involved with cottage industries. Like farming, these work-at-home businesses keep the family close and working together. Many of these businesses cater to the unique needs of the Amish community. Blacksmith shops, welding, harness repair, buggy manufacturing, and quilting all generate revenues that help sustain their country living lifestyle. More and more Amish are catering to the English community. English are what the Amish call anyone that's not Amish. Today, the Amish are heavily involved in building, cabinet and furniture making, catering and cooking, plus a variety of other services that cater to the tourist and English community. Most of us would think it impossible to live without electricity in today's world. The most basic of life's functions revolves around electricity. Lighting, heating, cooking, TV, and VCRs. They all depend upon electricity. But if you think about it, most rural Americans had no access to electricity until the 1930s or 40s. Many people who were alive during the first third of this century will be able to understand how the Amish live without electricity. In fact, to millions of people living in the third world nations, the Amish way of life would seem quite modern. A large portion of farms in this area are dairy farms. The milk check is an important part of the Amish farmer's income. Most Amish dairy farmers do all of their milking by hand. This requires help from the entire family. Every family member who is able will milk several cows twice a day, early morning and evening. The larger the family, usually the larger the herd of cows. I love dairy cows and often stop my car along the side of the country road and walk over the fence and call them. Quite often they'll come up and give you very unusual looks. Old order Amish still store milk in the old style milk cans. These milk cans are then cooled by placing them in troughs of flowing water. Buyers of grade A milk require that the milk be refrigerated at lower temperatures than are possible with this form of water cooling. So Amish dairy farmers who insist on only cooling their milk using the water method must sell their milk to cheese manufacturers as a grade B product. Windmill towers topped by their flower-like fans are a common sight on most Amish farms. Windmills pump water into storage reservoirs. These tanks are usually situated in the house's attic, the barn's loft, or on higher elevated land. If you journey to Ohio's Amish country, I highly recommend spending more than just one day. There are hundreds of miles of scenic back roads waiting to be explored. This area is rich with quality bed and breakfasts and unique inns. If you really want to meet and talk with the Amish, you might wish to stay at one of their fine bed and breakfasts. These B&Bs are reasonably priced and will quickly become your home away from home. This bed and breakfast is owned by Dale Schleybaugh, the blacksmith you saw in this video. It's one of the newest B&Bs in the Sugar Creek area and is a good representation of the country quaintness and hominess of an Amish bed and breakfast. This authentic Amish farmhouse has a beautiful front porch with a fabulous view of the barn and the fields. There are 2 bedrooms and a center bath on the main floor. The living room is open and well lit by the many windows. Incidentally, when the Amish build a home, windows are strategically placed for light and function, with little or no regard for exterior symmetry. Few activities inspire a sense of nostalgia than a good old-fashioned sleigh ride through the hilly valleys of Ohio's Amish countryside. Sleigh rides are available from different people or businesses at different times. I hitched my ride at the Gugesberg Swiss Inn in Charm. Having an Amish driver with a couple of his well-trained Belgians just adds to the flavor and fun of this experience. Wintertime in Amish country has its own unique flavor that many overlook. Winter scenery here is as beautiful as anywhere else in America. There's a special thrill of gliding on snow through the woods and fields that are lying dormant, awaiting a new spring.
Oh yeah, I like it better at night. Oh yeah, it's more fun. Especially when the moon's bright.
We have all sang the lyrics, dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh at some point in our lives. If you want to really know the fun and thrill that feels like, you'll have to make the trip to Ohio's Amish country when there's snow on the ground and ask around. The locals know who to call or ask to put you in touch with somebody who's offering sleigh rides.
Now you get an aerial like my farm over there. You see the barns right in front of the pine trees?
Yeah.
It's the lay alley there. That valley there. 2 hills there.
How many acres do you have?
86.
That's a good track.
Yeah, it's pretty good track. take her to this blacksmith shop. Two's are getting smooth.